Hello you guys, welcome to today's English Home Language, Term 2, Week 2, Wednesday's work. Today we're going to do some listening and speaking, some reading, some phonics, and writing. Let's start with listening and speaking. Today I'm going to read to you a poem about a polar bear. Now you need to listen very carefully because afterwards I'm going to ask you questions about it. Okay, let's begin. Polar Bear by Spike Milligan. Polar bear, how do you keep so clean? You always seem to stay so white, no matter where you've been. My mother scrubs me every night to wash the dirt away, but somehow it all comes back again when I go out to play. Now I want you to look very carefully at the poem and tell me, why do we say it's a poem? We have repeated words and we have rhyme words. The words that were repeated was polar bear, polar bear. Now, go look for me if you can see the rhyming words. The first two rhyming words was clean and bean. The next two rhyming words were away and play. Now here are a few questions for you about the poem Polar Bear. Number 1. Why does he want to be a polar bear? Question number 2. Does he like bathing and how do you know? And question number 3. How does the boy get dirty? The answer to the first question was because a polar bear looks like it stays clean. The answer to the second question, does he like bathing, how do you know, is no, because his mother scrubs him, he doesn't scrub himself, and he asks the polar bear how he keeps so clean. And then the last question, how does the boy get dirty? The answer was when he goes out to play. The second part of today's work, reading. Now before we do the reading part, let's quickly learn something new. Now we all know we have bones in our body. Can you name a few? Do you know how many bones we have in our body? We have 206 bones in our body altogether. Now why do we need bones? First, our bones protect our insides. Like our skull wraps around our brain like a helmet. Our cage of ribs protects our hearts and lungs, and so on. And secondly, it helps us to be able to stand up and move around. Without bones, we would be the same as a jellyfish, and then we won't be able to do what we do when we have bones. Today we're going to do reading about our skeleton. We're going to read the bones' names, and then we're going to look exactly where it is. We're going to start reading at the top from the left, from top to bottom, and then we're going to go to the right from top to bottom. The first word we read today is skull. Now your skull is in your head and it protects your brain. The next word we're going to read when we go down is the humerus. Do you see that the humerus is the top bone for your arm? Now, our bottom part of our arm has two bones. The first one we read now is the ulna, and that is the one that connects your elbow to your hand. When we go down, we read the name pelvis. Now your pelvis is where your hips are. The next word, do you see our legs also have two bones? The thickest bone in your bottom part of your leg is the tibia. Now let's go to the right side, from the top. The next word we're looking at is the scapula. And the scapula is where your shoulder blades are. The next word, do you see there's many bones that look the same there? That is what we call our ribs. one word, the one we read now, just one piece, singular, is rib. The next part, do you see now we see the second name for the second bone in our bottom arm? That is called the radius. Then we get to the next word. That is our upper leg. Our upper leg bone is called a femur. And then we get to the last word for today. The second part in the bottom part of our leg, the second bone there, is a fibula. The third part for today's lesson is phonics. Now today in phonics we're going to learn different sounds. To explain to you that they have different sounds, I'm going to use 4 different words which have 4 different sounds. Bread, the is e. In ear, it is ear. In reed, it is e. And in earth, it is e. Okay. Now, let's look at some extra examples to see the different sounds. For bread, the we can also say dread and spread. For the sound in ear, we can also use the examples fear and deer. For the sound in reed, the e, we can also say lead and reap. For the word earth, the we can also say dearth and hearth. For those of you who don't know, dearth is a scarcity or a lack of something, and hearth is the floor of a fireplace. So they're all words. Now I'm going to give you a quick exercise. I want you to sort the following words into those 4 groups. On a paper, if you have paper, or on sand with a stick, you can write the following 4 words. At the previous part, we had the words bread, ear, reed, and earth. I want you to write those 4 words down, and then I want you to sort all 12 these words that I'm going to give you underneath them according to their sound. The 12 words are beach, learn, spread, dream, clear, heard, dear, team, head, weather, early, and near. The 4th part for today's work is the writing. For today's writing, let's first revise the 5 steps of the writing process. Pre-write, draft, revise, edit, and publish. In our previous lesson, we focused more on step 1, pre-writing, where we used the spider diagram to put our ideas in, and now we're going to focus on step 2, the draft. With a draft, you're going to write a friendly letter, but this is where you're going to do your more or less planning, so you don't need to focus yet on exact spelling. But what I want you to focus on is to put your ideas into sentences and put those sentences together to make paragraphs. Remember, for your rough draft of your friendly letter, you must have 5 parts in it. The header, where you have the date. The greeting, where you say dear and your friend's name, or your mother's name, or just mum, or your dad's name, or just dad, or anyone who you are close to. Then, you must write the body. You can have 1 paragraph, or 2 paragraphs, or at most 3 paragraphs. A paragraph must have at least 3 sentences in it. Otherwise, it does not count as a paragraph. The 4th thing, you must have your closing. Your friend, or see you soon, or greetings, or things like that. And then the last part of your rough draft is your signature. And that is where you write your name. The last part for today is homework. Now I want you to go read for me at storyberries.com. And the last thing for homework is your spelling words. Again, I put these 10 words mixed up, and I want you to go practice each word 10 times. First word, note, hall, float, squash, boat, again, nail, throat, square, and bone. Thank you very much for joining me today and can't wait to see you again. Bye bye.